Welcome back to the Catch and Pass podcast, everyone. We're doing episode, what are we on, 5 now? We're going to recap round 9. We're going to talk about our picks for State of Origin coming up next month. Magic rounds this weekend, so we'll talk about that. And a few shout outs and social media highlights. So once again, sit back, relax, let us do all the work. On Stocksy, we're here with Brad, Hodgie, and Dave, as usual. So, what's everyone up to?
Not a lot.
Don't jump in.
yeah, not much. Not much.
I'm on days off at the moment.
Yeah.
Haven't been doing much. I just came from dinner, had a nice seafood basket. Had to rush home to get prepped for the podcast, you know. What about you, Stocksy? What are you up to?
Oh, not much.
Not much.
We've been doing a few meetings with our builder because we're building a house, my wife and I. So we've been doing a bit of that stuff. Continuing on the gangster rap trend, I've moved on to Tupac and Snoop Dogg now.
Oh, yeah.
I watched that doco, the Defiant ones as well. Oh, that was mint.
Was it? Mint.
Yeah.
So good.
It's so good. All about Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. It's really, really good. So check that out if you can. Anyone else?
Sorry.
What was that on? Stan?
It's on
Is that
Netflix.
on Stan or Netflix? Netflix. Yeah, it's mad. Go check it.
Yeah, 4 episodes and yeah, great. Really deep dive.
It's got to be better than that fucking 4-part series I watched, Night Stalker. Kept me up for fucking 2 weeks.
Oh, it was good, but hey.
Yeah,
it was hectic, but
Richard Ramirez, you can die in hell.
It was that tall dude, was it? Was that one?
Yeah, tall Hispanic
and he wore the
guy.
shoes.
Tall,
shoes.
tall.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But yeah.
It was gnarly.
King and Mrs. told me about that one, but I was too scared. So.
Oh, dude, it's hectic too. It's proper.
What have you been doing, Hodge?
Not much.
Building a blue wall.
To be honest, had a good win last week at footy. Kicked a couple of goals.
Well, do we want to kick it off like a leper's head and do hit up the socials, Hodgie? What do we got?
Yeah. So last week we cut it off and didn't get to plug the socials. So don't forget, we got the Catch and Pass podcast on social media, Instagram specifically. Jump on, give us a like. And we're going to start a new thing this week. So everyone that follows the page will get a shout out. So unfortunately for the people that have been following us for a while, you're going to miss out. So I've just gone the last 5 days. We've got Shane _tags. I don't know a lot of these people. Trent _Giles.
I know Shane tags. Sorry,
_Dean _Curry. _K couples, big cups. Abs.yabs. I think she's a fighter, Catherine. ADF Women's Rugby League. Give us a follow.
That's a good one.
And our latest one today, because I kind of meant to doing it, Raymundo _Salinas. So thanks, guys. Appreciate the love. Make sure you get onto follow the link tree in our
on your Cupsy.
And subscribe to YouTube too. Get our views
on that topic, one of the people who was already following us reached out to me in the DMs. Jericho Sason, his name is.
Jericho Librian.
No, not him.
Oh, that guy. Libs. Jesus.
So he wanted to let us know that he's really enjoying the show so far, and that he listens to it on it. So I'm just reading what he wrote. He listens to it at work on a Sunday afternoon sometimes and thinks we're a good bunch of blokes. So he's clearly got poor taste in blokes. But big thanks to the chocolate seduction Jericho, as he asked to be called. So thanks very much, Jerry.
Chocolate seduction. I love that.
Yeah, or the Asian sensation.
Does anyone know who Jacoby Burley is?
Is anyone
Say it again.
else? Is he breaking up for anyone else?
Recently too.
Yeah, Hodgie,
Yeah,
you're
it
breaking
was
up
for
a
me.
little bit.
Am I?
Yeah, couldn't hear.
Just say that username again. You broke up.
Jacoby. Hang on. Oh, I don't know. It's gone.
Thanks, Jacoby. Thanks for the follow.
Oh yeah,
whoever you are.
Jacoby Burley. Jacoby Burley. It seems to be some sort of, it's like rugby league, some sort of rugby league page. Haven't seen it before, but yeah, cheers for the follow anyway. Appreciate it.
Great. So yeah, everyone, give us a like and a share and get a shout out to how many followers are we up to?
66.
Yeah, 66, and we got 20 subscribes on YouTube, which is actually not too bad. Pretty happy with that.
I'm actually
not bad.
commandeering the Instagram tomorrow, so I'll have our 66 up to 132 by the Saturday.
Nice.
No, you won't.
Roger that. Oh, Stocksy
Sorry,
missed it
get it
today
last
too, but
round.
bit of a midlife thing, Stocksy, but
Oh, you got
Can you
piercing.
see it?
did.
Jeez.
Super painful, apparently.
You know what I think of? It reminds me, you know that episode of Seinfeld where they go to India and Elaine gets her nose pierced when she's pissed? Were you pissed or been into the schnoz?
No, I was pissed at
Okay.
the fact that it stung so much. Probably
Where'd
why
you
I can
go?
imagine.
I went to Rebels Bikies or something they call themselves. I don't know.
Give them a plug, see if you get your free one.
Who's this guy following us now? The sergeant at arms.
Oh, we do need sponsors, so get on board, guys.
They patch you in or?
Yeah. Welcome back to the pod. Proudly sponsored by Hells Angels.
There's no affiliation with Hells Angels. Anyway. Not saying anything against them, but
No affiliation.
but they have yet to reach out. So.
Yeah. Soxy, I think your doorbell just went off, bro. We're here.
Someone hacking into my iPad here. What's going on?
Anyway,
All right, so
let's get into it. We've got a big show, boys. We've got a big show. Come on.
yeah, big show.
Quick,
We'll try and keep it a bit brief this week.
Under 2 hours. Come on.
Under 2 hours, yeah, that'd be nice. So yeah, we're going to look at the round that was. If someone would like to read out the games, because
First game was Bunny Storm.
who had that one? We're on a 2-minute timer.
I think Brad had the top two. I think Brad had first and second game.
Yeah, Bunnies versus Storm. From the bottom, Bunnies missing too many people. Obviously, no Reynolds, no Latrell. Storm is too good. They were clinical. Like Jerome Hughes, I watched an interview today with Bellamy, like a quick thing, and like we've said it before, we all know it. The Storm just turned mediocrity into absolute superstars, or just people that don't make mistakes. And Jerome Hughes was clinical. Obviously, the Fox scored, what was it, 3 times 2 tries. And Justin Olam was awesome. Like the whole pack, the whole Melbourne Storm team, yeah, scored 50, but 50 to 6, yeah, 50 to 8, 50 to 10 looks, but 50 to 0, unreal. And they were just too good. It's definitely.
So that's a big scoreline.
It's a big scoreline against a very good team. And you're looking at like decent forward pack of the Bunnies as well. You're looking at Cody Walker, I think, went missing for most of the game though, unfortunately. Cam Murray, like you look like there's some good talent at Tom Burgess at the Bunnies, but Storm just too good.
That might mean that South's the Hoodoos on. They might not win the grand final now. No team's ever won after conceding 50 points. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Make sure you edit scat.
And the other, and the other thing to take note of in that is Munster's goal kicking was pretty ordinary. So that could have been an even bigger score. if he was putting it through the sticks.
It would have been closer to 60.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he got
there's
5
something
from
to think
10.
about too.
So
Yeah, exactly. So another 10 points that went begging.
That's crazy. 5 from 10
Yeah, I know.
attempts. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's
Let Cameron Welch kick.
Let anyone kick.
Anyone, literally anyone.
Yeah.
Get Belliac
Someone's
down
got to
from
have
the
a go.
stand.
Yeah, someone. I'd get the bloody
Just come on for a kick and go back up.
the fucking 4 and 20 pies lady going through the stands can have a crack.
What was
It's pretty mental that you got a first grade team and they can only he's the only person that can really kick in that whole side. That's bizarre to me. Surely you've got at least 2 or 3 backups that can put him through the sticks. But anyway,
you have to have a backup because what if he goes down injured? Is he just nailing them every week at training? You reckon? And they're just like, no, he must have just had an off night or something. It's crazy. Anyway, next
I have
game.
no idea. Penny Sharks.
That's you, Brad.
That's you, Bradley.
Penny Sharks? Penny said it. Getting sick of saying it. I don't often say it about many sports. Follow a lot of sports, but I'm actually looking forward to Penrith losing just to get them grounded again. But I'm like, man, they're not gonna. There's nothing. There's no team I think that are going to challenge them or are up to their standard aside from the Storm. And I don't know when they're playing them next, but Penny just too good. Like Cleary, what did he kick? 7 from 7 or something? Or no, 10 from 10. It was something. Was it 10 from 10?
8 from 8.
8 from 8.
Yeah.
That guy's a superstar. Like they talk about Munster being the next Wally Lewis today. I was reading him, but Cleary's not flying under the radar. But him and Luai, like that combination is, it's fire. Like it's devastating. And Penrith, when they concede points, it just makes them more hungry to not concede points. And yeah, the Storm over the years have done that pretty well. But Penrith just they've had some teams score tries against them, and it hasn't been many. They were just too good, man. Like the Sharks were average though. The Sharks are or did have some names out, but man, like I'm calling it. Like Penrith are going to win it this year. Penrith full strength.
I feel like the only difference with
I'm calling it.
I feel like the only
Penrith
difference
full
between
strength.
Cleary,
Penrith full strength, injury free. Obviously, all teams are fatigued going into September, but Penrith injury free, Storm injury free. You're seeing like a repeat of last year's grand final, but I'm going to call it right now and say that scores reversed.
Yeah, and anything short, like Penny have to win, and the only thing that'll stop them is like a Manchester United plane crash level incident, you know.
Like I don't want to go too far into it, and we've only got like a little bit of time to talk about each game, but Ivan Cleary's not until 2020 and this year, you wouldn't call him an exceptional coach. Like he's not done that well at the clubs he's been at prior, there's just something, I don't know what's going on at Penrith or who's talking to him or what he's saying to those players, but that team is not full of superstars, man. Like, let's face it, that team is not full of superstars, but they keep turning up and full credit to the boys and all that shit. But man, like it's something else, that's for sure.
Something's working there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
He coached them before and had a better team then.
It's the juniors program.
It doesn't hurt.
Right.
Doesn't hurt. I think, and they've signed long term, a lot of them too. So
you need to sign a new internet deal, bro.
Yeah, your internet's rank.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
A few moments later.
Alrighty. On to the next game. It was Gold Coast 36 defeated West Tigers 28 out at Campbelltown. I always like seeing Tigers run out in the old West jerseys, the black and white.
It was good.
I reckon they should do it more often, to be honest. But
Tommy
that was cool. Around. Yeah, it was. And it was a decent tribute too. So it ended up, as I read the scores out, it was surprisingly high scoring. Titans came out pretty fast and piled a few tries on, but then the Tigers came back. They got a few, as Dave and I like to call them the West Tigers style tries, but they just pull it out of their arse somehow. And yeah, so that wasn't too bad. Sami and Nofaluma both got doubles. Fogarty 6 from 6 on the kicking. Penalty count was a bit lopsided. 7 penalties against Titans and only 1 against the Tigers. And it came down at the end. Dewey got a try and he was converting, and if he converts it, they're 6 points down. They're getting the ball back with a minute to go, and they could get the miracle play, and he completely shanked the kick. So I know he's got a big fan in one of our followers, Brett Gemmell, who would have been pretty upset by that.
Madge did watch that kick though and go straight to sentence.
Oh God, yeah. He looks so depressed, the poor guy. Anyway, big player from that game, I thought, for Feeder. He got sin binned at the end
2
there,
weeks.
but yeah, he got 2 weeks for that. It was a pretty nasty looking hit, but 2 weeks I thought was a bit much, especially after the binning. But he made 8 tackle breaks and got 5 offloads through the game, shitload of meters. So good effort from him.
Follow up after the Broncos game for him.
Yeah, well, he needed to do something, didn't he? So, did you guys have anything on that one? Or?
Oh, look, I think the Tigers just.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't really think. I don't know whether the Tigers deserve to score 28 points. To be honest, I feel like they're just not. I don't know what's going on with them.
I think any team this year can score points against the Titans. Like I heard Justin Holbrook say that their team plays like a under 18s team, and when they get
all out attack.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah. So, but it was a pretty entertaining game, really. But I would like to see Dewey kick that, because then it makes for a final, like a pretty interesting final 60 seconds.
Well, they still tried. They still tried on that thing, and they went through every set of hands, and then there was a kick, and then another kick, and it had me out of my seat thinking, oh shit, and that was knowing that they couldn't win, and it was an exciting finish, and so it would have been great if he'd converted it. So that was that one. The next game, Cowboys versus Broncos. The rivalry lives on with another golden point victory. Oh, not a golden point, another field goal victory, 19-18.
How's that fucking feel?
Sorry, continue.
Not funny, but okay.
It's a good loss. It's a good loss, Doxy. It's a good loss.
Yeah, I honestly, I was disappointed, thinking, we've got this on the line. Honestly, Taumalolo got that last try to tie it up under the post, and it was a pretty, it's Taumalolo, yes, but it was a pretty soft defensive effort. And at that point, I was thinking, oh, well, we've lost here, because I knew we didn't have anyone who's going to kick the field goal. The ball's not going to be down the right end of the field and stuff. So I kind of conceded that we were going to lose at that point, but I wasn't upset because it was a great game. Like, it was, once again, almost match of the round. It was good to watch. The kicking wasn't a factor this week. It was three goals each. Holmes missed one, but a penalty goal. Taumalolo ran for 230 metres, and so did Herbie Farnworth. I reckon, geez, if only Farnworth wasn't a Palm and he was a Queenslander, I reckon he'd almost be looking at an Origin jersey the season he's had. And the big stat that I took from the game was that North Queensland only conceded 3 tries, but they missed 43 tackles. And
wowza.
So the Broncos still need a bit of work in attack. So they should have really capitalised on that and put it to bed. But
I just want to say as well, it was pretty disappointing for me that the game, not disappointing. Like, I knew the Cowboys were going to miss 30 tackles. I didn't think it'd be 40, but I thought the Broncos would carve us through the middle with offloads. I think the disappointing part for me was the offloads just weren't there for Brisbane, and it worked so well against the Titans. And you just ran rampant through the middle. I'm not sure if it was intentional or the Cowboys were tackling below and above, but there were no offloads. And I thought that's where we'd struggle.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well.
Because one thing I think...
Oh, no, go on, Hodgie.
No, I was just going
to say...
got good lag here.
Sorry, go, Hodgie.
I was just going to say, if I was a Broncos fan, like the whole game, for the 77 minutes of the game was fantastic. But in that, like that Taumalo try was, like the try itself was soft as. But I'm pretty sure the Cowboys went like nearly 100 meters put on that try, and then it's just like it was one from like the 77-minute mark. It was so one-way traffic that Brisbane just weren't. They were never going to win it for that reason.
Yeah, man, and like I said, I did say that Taumalo scores the try, and I instantly felt we're not going to win this. But it was actually that whole set, the way they moved the ball up the field on that set. I was thinking, here we go. That familiar feeling the Broncos fans get at the moment. It's just you see a team move the ball so fast up the middle, and you're like, okay, here we go, fold time. But yeah, three bad minutes. It's an improvement. So there's something happening there. Anyway, do you have anything, Dave? Do you want to interrupt?
No, you said it all.
Okay.
I just saw that the like our backs let us down. Our backs had 7 errors. Like for a back line, you can't have that many errors. The forwards, in my opinion, they're allowed to make those errors. They're the fucking, they're the heart and soul. They're the engine work. Like they can drop the ball, but the backs, they shouldn't be dropping that much ball. And once I saw that as a stat, I thought, that let us down. And you give good possession to, Tamalolo and those type of guys. It's always going to be off the back foot. But talk about Herbie Farnworth real quick. I saw something today. He's got the most running meters out of any centre in the NRL. So not too bad for a random pommy that came over from England who
just
was
take Gazner out of my centres last week and insert Farnsworth.
He was Farnworth was a Manchester United youth academy player.
Yeah,
player before he came over. Yeah, good call, Farnsy.
Gun Union player. Supposedly a lot of contracts with a lot of different codes. Even AFL was looking at him, eh?
Good kisser too.
Say good kisser or good kicker?
Kicker, yeah.
Oh, kicker.
I thought you said kisser. Can you use that tongue tornado?
We'll watch it in the edit. And it was a joke, but okay. All right, next game. Who's up?
So, did you do yours, Dave? Already?
Nah, Stocksy fucked the order completely. But if
I did it backwards. Yeah. I just wanted to save the best one for last. That's all.
All right, cool. Well, I'll go back. I did the second Friday night game, which is Parramatta Roosters, and Parramatta got up in that 31-18. I watched that. I thought the Roosters were going to have a bit of a better crack, but the guys had 3 major injuries. I nearly thought Joseph Sawali was going to come on for a little bit and play 18th man, which would have been nice, but they just couldn't keep up with the Parramatta. Like to be competitive, they did okay, but Parramatta, they showed a bit of class. I think when I think of who's going to go to the GF, like obviously Penrith and Melbourne, and I think of any like a third team, like I think it's going to be Parramatta. I think Parramatta might have a good crack. They're pretty good across the park. They're starting to strangle teams now. I think it'll be. I'm really looking forward to Parramatta when they play Melbourne next, and when they play Penrith, because they did beat Melbourne earlier in the year, if you can remember. So that was a pretty good game. But yeah, Roosters, they had to make nearly 150 more tackles. They dropped the ball, doubled the 16 errors. So it was just tough for them. Had a lot of outs.
There's really just 3 teams this year, eh? Like I'm calling it again, like early, but. Man, like in no order, Penrith, Storm, and Eels. Like, I don't reckon there's anyone close to them. Even like the distance between Para, if you have Para at 3, the distance between the third best team and the fourth is just. And I know Souths have Latrell coming back and Reynolds and whatnot, but yeah, separate matter. But Eels were good, man.
There is a
what
big
about
gap
the,
in between them.
What about the there's a bit of foul play in that game too, in the one play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's bad. Yeah.
That was bad.
That was
That's
just shit reffing, man. That was shit officiating. Like,
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Robbo's
that
got a
was
point there. Hey, but like I'm certainly not victim bashing here, but like Tedesco twice has been hit in 3 weeks as he's falling. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know where
I know what you're saying, Brad.
I don't know where
No,
I'm
'cause
going with that,
Yeah.
but
he
It's
takes
just a
the
big,
line on. He takes the
risky
line
thing.
on, draws
Yeah.
and pass, and because he's so committed, because he doesn't give two fucks about his body, and that's what it is. He doesn't give two fucks. He can be off balance, but he's making sure he's going to give that pass. And a defender, like they're not going to go down to his level. So I think a couple of the contacts have been unlucky, but I know what you're saying, Brad.
yeah, unlucky.
I think the defenders. I think
unfortunate.
a couple of these defenders though, they're leading. So they're not going out with open arms. They're going with one arm out, so you don't get pinged for a shoulder charge, and they're tucking the other one, and that's what got him was the forearm because he tucked it, and that's the sort of thing that they are going to want to be rubbing out because he was falling, and 10, 15 years ago, that's bad luck, mate. You were falling. It's not a penalty. It's not even a penalty 10 years ago, but now the head's becoming sacrosanct, and you just can't do stuff. You can't risk stuff like that anymore.
Exactly. And the defense are not. They're tucking that arm I think it's a natural instinct. And I've only played 400 games of first grade football, but I'm not a doctor as well. But you don't want to hit someone like that because that's like torn bicep or whatnot and shoulder.
Exactly,
and so they're tucking it to protect themselves, and it's just unfortunate because when they're doing it, Tedesco is starting here and ending here, and it's
it's a real head scratcher on what's the writing stuff.
Yeah. But
well,
Brett Gamble, if you're listening, I will hit you here.
I get that they have to do this stuff to protect people's heads and stuff, which it's understandable. They just have to grade it better with like 10 in the bin, suspensions, all that sort of stuff. Like you can't be going like the accidental thing. I don't think it happens too often anymore, or doesn't get spoken about a lot anymore, where it's like an accidental or intentional. But also a thing with Tedesco, and I heard this a couple of years ago. He had a lot of knee problems early in his career when he was at the Tigers.
Yeah.
Turns out that he refuses to wear the longer studs regardless of the weather anymore because his feet were getting stuck in the ground, and he's having a problem with his knees. So he only wears the shorter molded studs in his boots, and he has a lot of trouble with slipping.
That makes a lot of sense. I always thought that he was just faking injuries with the Tigers so he wouldn't have to play for him.
That's fair too. That's fair.
He fucking deserves all the high shots he gets. Then fuck him.
We're screwing you, dog.
Do you want to go next game? So next game was Raiders Newcastle over at your hometown, Soxy Wagga Wagga. Did watch this game. Got a little bit of a soft spot for both teams. To be honest, I thought Raiders were going to run away. They were 12-0 up after. It was a shit first half. They were 12-0 up after 40 minutes. Raiders were on top of that game. Newcastle just were making dumb mistakes. They couldn't get the rollover. Raiders, like Ricky had the boys firing up. Like they had all the aggression. Second half, Knights come out. Crossland scored first try in 41st minute. And then the floodgates opened for Newcastle. And I really think, I know he gets a lot of shit raps. So people think he should be, like man of the match every play every week. But Ponga had a really good second half. If you guys saw it, Ponga was instrumental in nearly all of the tries.
He was actually.
He really stepped up. And
really
the thing,
good,
I think Ponga's starting to realize that he is the leader. He's the captain. He's not just some fucking kid that's there who's a gun, like a good player. Like he needs to lead. He needs to, because a lot of the times, they don't have Mitchell Pearce. They got Kurt Mann. They got Connor Watson. They don't have a lot of creativity. They don't have no creativity. So they give the ball to him to create, but he's also leading the team around. Like he's putting his ball. He's not the best defensive fullback, but he's trying really hard. And I think the other players see that and they lift on it. And we'll get to the Origin teams later. But I think when Ponga plays with good momentum and good confidence, I think that's when you see the best out of him, mate.
Probably what he's got in the back of his mind too.
I just think the issue with Newcastle at the moment is they are relying on him too much. Like there are 12 other people on the field at that time. Like it can't be just give it to the good kid and he'll run around everyone on the outside and score a try. Like it's not going to work for him.
They do that when Mitch Pearce plays too, and Saifidi.
Yeah, 100%.
Because he's hyped. We've talked about how hyped he is, but it's good that, like Dave mentioned in the second half, Ponga won that game. If Ponga wasn't on the field, Raiders score 40, 50 points. Ponga won that. And that ball he threw to Jaden Brayley to crash over, like, that was fire. That was...
Yeah.
That's what he can do. We've seen he can do that, but...
His vision's incredible. He's one of the best ball-playing players in the NRL. His vision is unbelievable. I just think Mitchell Pearce is such a massive loss for him because Mitchell Pearce could steer the team around. He doesn't really and Jaden Brayley's not much of a hooker. And Kurt Mann's not much of a playmaker. Like
Kurt Mann is Newcastle's Dewey.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Ponga works better.
A little stat from the Raiders. In their last 5 games, in the second half, they've been outscored 93 points to 8.
I saw that.
Just in the second half, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, the old...
I don't even know what to put that down
back and forth.
Oh, isn't it ever? It's so nuts. So crazy. But yeah.
I don't want to keep it moving, but do you want to go next game? Sea Eagles, Hodgie? We've still got 2 games to go.
So Sea Eagles, Warriors. Man, a try fest. 38-32. It was just defense went out the window a little bit with everyone. All right, Stocksy. So I just talked to myself a little. I'll hold down the ship.
One of my cats was flipping out. Had to go kick it. Here you go.
But man, Turbo again. I'm
getting a bit cold. The
garage. He's obviously a gun player, but geez, the impact that he's had on that team. Like Manly were not doing well before he came back, and he came back 2 tries, 3 try assists, ran for over 200 something meters. I actually heard
5
during
line
that
breaks.
game, 5 line breaks.
Yeah.
I heard during a game his stats for that game, like across the board, were up there with I think like top 3 of the last 30 years or something. Like
no. So his personal stats for that game, this is according to Beacon Finch, but his stats for that game are nearly the best stats in the history of the NRL since 1998. So he had the stats of like...
that's what I was saying. Yeah, I think it was him, Joey, and one other person.
Yeah. It was Brett Kamali or something like that.
That's, some random.
Yeah.
But, I'm actually kind of surprised. I was watching that game and Manly just seemed like they were like killing it. But somehow the Warriors just sort of like stayed with them the whole time. And like, you're watching them and thinking the Warriors aren't definitely not in this game at all. But they only end up 1 try out of it. It was a bizarre game to watch. But again, Turbo gun.
I don't think Nathan Brown used Reece Walsh to his potential. He's only an 18-year-old kid, but if you watch the game, he come on with 20 minutes to go, and he fucking changed the game, man. An 18-year-old kid come on and was like, "Oh, give me the fucking pill. I'm gonna fucking create, and I'm gonna, And he did, man. He created stuff, and I think he's gonna have to start next week.
It's so good. Our game is in such good hand, like it's in such a good place when those Reece Walsh, Sam Walkers are coming out and tearing it up.
Yeah. Fuck, I wish the Broncos had
funny because not that long
system, eh?
I'm pretty glad
ago.
Walker's gone, and I'm glad that we got rid of Walsh because you don't want a ball hog, do you?
Also, Manly's right side, that Saab and that centre that looks like Lionel Richie, they were good.
Mate.
Well, do you know what that centre does? So that centre, his fucking whole job when he gets the ball is just like, I'm just going to create space for fucking Saab. That's all he's thinking.
Yeah,
He doesn't even look inside. Yeah, he doesn't look inside.
No, he's just thinking, all I'm going to do is suck in that winger. And if I give Saab an extra 3 inches, because he's ridiculously fast.
He's so good.
Saab's a, like he reminds me of Tupou for East.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Is he a Queenslander?
I think so. Yeah, he's from Mount Isa or something. Oh.
Well, if Edric Lee can make the team, fucking he can't make the team.
I think he's been to Queensland, so that's enough. So,
yeah. He visited back in
Branko Lee made the
1993.
team.
It's Beldrick Lee.
Beldrick. Right, we'll move on to
Branko Lee.
Yep. Dragons looked a lot better. I mean, I say they looked a lot better. They were playing the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have to be, honestly, like we talk about how there's that top tier sort of 2 or 3 teams that are just well above the rest. The Bulldogs are just so far behind any other team. Like you talk about the Broncos, they've been struggling a little bit. The Cowboys have been struggling a little bit. Sharks, West Tigers. But they're just so bad to watch. Like the amount of just errors and just shit game and the lack of direction. That Flanagan gets taken off through the game and
he's dropped for next week.
And he's dropped next week. Like it makes me feel good because Barrett's coaching there now, and it's just like, maybe just stick to being an attacking coach, not a head coach, because you're obviously not making the right decisions. But
next year he doesn't really need to coach attack when he look at the roster, like the back line he's got next year. So Trent Barrett's just treading water. Trent Barrett's just treading water.
Like, the Bulldogs on paper aren't that bad, though. That's the thing.
No,
if you look at their team, they're not that bad.
But Hopewadi and a couple,
they should be doing a lot better than what they are.
Like Hopewadi and a couple
back line, man. And they're going to have a better back line next year. They need a hooker. They have 0 hooker. The guy who's playing hooker, he's not a fucking hooker. And Flanagan, I think he's okay. They just need a bit of a better forward pack and hooker. And I think they'll win games next year. I don't think they'll kill it. But
I read today that Josh Hodgson wants to play in the NRL for 5 more years, and he's not. I don't think the word was he's accepted that it won't be with Canberra. But if Trent Barrett's smart, mate, just give him 2 years. 2 years. Just give him 2 years.
They desperately need a 9.
They need a 9. They need a 6.
Mate, at one stage, Josh Hodgson was getting spoken of Cam Smith, man. He's a great hooker.
Yeah. Oh, he had a 19 because he stripped the ball 5 times in 19. But like, he is a good hooker though, and his kicking game. You don't see many good kicks in play or kickers from the UK come across. But Hodgson's kicking game is pretty good.
Find the corner and a 40-20.
Yeah.
Like,
Barrett only needs 3 players tops next year to make that team top 8. Because Addo knows how.
Oh no, man! Come on.
No. Seriously, he needs 3
in
good
a
players.
Year.
He needs a 6, 7, and 9, and he can turn that club around. I'm telling just to make the 8. I'm not saying 6, 4, even anything near.
I just think there's too many teams above them that are probably going to be better. I think they'll definitely improve. It's like when you're bringing out that kind of football week in, week out. I think it's more of a. Probably a few attitudes need to be adjusted.
There's just so much proven success in that back line next year. All they need is a half, a 5'8", and a hooker. And Faitala Mariner, he left. No, he stayed. Harawira and Naira left. Who's that? Ockenball's out. Like, there's still some players out that could influence a couple of wins towards the back end of this year when clubs are resting their players. But anyway, we're getting ahead. Like, next year, Bulldogs top 8.
I mean, I'd like to see it, but just from what I've seen,
we may as well.
They've just been
we may as well just go straight into player movements and talk about that for a bit.
Right, let me go with Frosty Boy
because that's the round wrapped up. We did it in under 6 hours, so that's good. And yeah, so do you want to go on to player movements then, while it's sort of the discussion topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, who we talk about? Reynolds, 2.4 mil to Broncos.
Yeah, a few big names this week. So Xavier Turncoats went to the Storm, and I don't know what he actually took less money to go to the Storms, and I guess that's just what players will do to get into that system and get coached by Bellamy. He's going to do well there. Obviously,
he will, mate.
He's the choice to replace Addo next year, and yeah, it's probably a good fit for everyone. I wasn't too upset. I mean, we saw the writing on the wall at the Broncos that he was probably going to go, but I mean, yeah, I get that he is super talented and he's got a lot of X factor in that. But at the end of the day, he's a winger as well, and wingers are getting to be very important, but it's a lot easier to find a awesome winger than it is an awesome half. And
100%.
And that was a problem for us as well. And like you said, Dave, the news came out today that Reynolds is signing a 3-year deal with the Broncos for $2.4 million. Rumor has it he's going to be given the captaincy as well. So Sharks have missed the boat on that one. Apparently they were really gunning for him, and I've even heard rumors that they're going to make a play for Milford next. So
Yep.
Good on you.
That's so dumb. That is so dumb. That is like,
yeah. I reckon.
And if anyone you could pick, why would you?
You know who should be chasing Milford? I reckon is the dog. I reckon he would fit in. To that system.
Milford just needs a
Milford needs a good half.
He does, but that's why honestly, if Milford stays for one more year, this fucking sounds crazy, but if he stays for 1 year, Reynolds might bring out the best of him. I'm more than happy to fuck him off. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, Reynolds, we've bought him so he can steer the props around, he can kick to the corners, he can do little grubbers. That's it. We haven't had a halfback.
And Reynolds isn't make a break and run 60 meters to score because he's too slow. But
exactly, yeah.
You, like what you said, Dave, 100%. And Stocksy, you give Reynolds the structure, the kicking game, the game management, and like I won't say that. Milford with that kind of halfback playing alongside him will play 2015 Anthony Milford, 100%. Like Ben Hunt had that game management and that strategy, and
I was just about to say that.
Milford could go through the centers and score tries quick. He's quick. He's still quick. But yeah, if you kept Milford next year, I wouldn't be surprised to see that combination work 100%. And I can see re-signing him, to be honest.
Yeah, and when you talk about him needing that half support, and you mentioned 2015. I think Hunt came, I think, top 5 in the Dally M in 2015. Like he played out of his skin that
Great
year.
Season, yeah.
And unfortunately that season is
remembered by that.
Is remembered for one moment, which is the worst thing you could ever do in your career. But let's not talk about that. Go watch the DVD later, Brad. Yeah, I think you're right. Reynolds could bring the best out in Milford. For me personally, I'm a bit worried if they keep him around that if they do bring the best, if Reynolds did bring the best out in him, then recent history at the Broncos makes me think that they will jump at a shadow and throw more money at him and say, "Oh, stay around, Milf," and then Reynolds retires and then he goes back to being shit. You know, you get me?
Yeah, I get you. But that's on the back of 3, and I'll call it as well. I've got a lot of early calls tonight, but that's off the back of 3 successful years for the Broncos because Reynolds.
Yeah,
Reynolds,
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. I mean this respectfully. You're not going to do any worse with Reynolds.
No, I think we'll do a lot better. I think he's perfect fit. The only thing, like I think he'll fit the system. The only thing that'll fuck him is injuries. He's getting old. He's had a few knocks. If he
mentioned this.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I was just saying injuries, mate. It's the only thing because look, we signed Jack Bird at the peak of his career, and look, I'm not saying he's going to be a Jack Bird. I'm not saying that at all, but that's just an example. And we wasted 2-3 years on a marquee player through injuries. I'm just saying if Reynolds stays fit, I have no doubt he's going to be a massive in for the club. Massive.
Yeah. And I get he's at the back end of his career and everything, but he's injured now, yes, but I had a quick look because I know you mentioned this to me earlier today that you were a bit concerned about injuries and that. But his last 4 seasons, he's played over 20 games still, and that's like I went and had a look, and so that's not bad.
20 games total or 20 games a season?
20 games a
Average.
season.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if he can keep that up, I mean, apart from right now, he is injured. But I don't know. I think, maybe that's a risk. And I think the point you were making is that Souths were adamant they're only going to give him 1 year. and
Yeah,
that makes you worry about, okay, well, do they know something we don't?
Yeah, well, that's like what Gamble
It
said.
seems
Like,
too
I
weird
mean,
that
like,
they're just cutting ties.
It is because like he's a club fucking legend, man. He's won a premiership. He's one of the best halfbacks in the history of South, and they're like, we're only giving you 1 year. Like, so
I can't work that out.
yeah, I don't get it.
It's
either.
weird.
Yeah. Well, it's either
Unless they're
that. It's
chasing
either
someone.
that they know something. They know
That-
something
that-
we don't about his body.
That's exactly
they're chasing
right.
someone on the quiet. I think they're chasing someone on the quiet, or they've got a junior that no one's heard, that no one's realised about yet. That's the least likely of the scenarios because you just can't keep that sort of thing secret anymore.
I feel like they're more inclined to be chasing someone on the slot. I feel
Yeah,
like that's
I would think so.
what's going to be happening.
Okay, but that brings up Stocksy brings up a fucking awesome point. Is that they know something about his body that other clubs don't know, and I hope that's not the case because the Broncos don't want to be signing a horse with like 5 races left in its life.
Well, that was Dave mentioned that to me earlier, so I'm not taking credit for that call.
Yeah, thanks.
I think it's a big call, but yeah.
Just back to signings though, and Milford going somewhere or Johnson going somewhere. I hear the Cowboys are after a couple of halves as well. So if you want to come up to North Queensland, boys, we're low.
No one will go there, but wash up halves, man.
You're gonna have bloody Sean Johnson playing on the wing next year.
Shane Tronk back into the forwards.
Well, let's move on to Origin. Let's get that.
Yeah, great. So yeah, we've gone and made our predictions for Origin teams about how long away? It's about 3 weeks away. So we've all picked our teams. I believe we're going to have them displayed on the screen, hopefully.
If not, have a look on socials, and all of our lists are on there. But for now, I've gone through everyone's list and basically put together one Queensland team, one New South Wales team of essentially who we've all picked, and then I'll add on extras. So start off with the Queensland team. Pretty much everyone's either gone AJ or Ponga. I think for the most part, everyone's going to have like that
3-1
consensus. So they're really between those two. Coates on the wing. I think everyone had him. Pretty sure everyone had Gagai in their centres. I think the other centre was sort of up a little bit with either Capel or Sammy. I think most people had Sammy.
That's where we're
Dave
weakest.
might have had Capel.
No, I had Capel only because he did such a good job last year. Like I didn't even want the fucker in the squad, but he came out and he dominated.
He won us that first game.
Yeah, he did. But also, also I went with Capel ahead of Sammy because of what Capel's doing, of where Capel's coming from at the moment. Sammy's in a bit of our team's going okay. We can attack, but Capel's coming from arguably the best team in the comp. So
yeah, that's a good point.
I found it very difficult leaving Capel out, but I did. So
I actually went with Capel, I think, in second row, based off the fact of what he's doing at Penrith. So that's the only reason. I mean, he'll fit in there either way. The other winger, everyone I think had Val Holmes.
And Capel can fit into a hole as well. So.
Like a 68-year-old.
Yeah.
This runs a good line.
6 and 7, Munster and DCE. I did go with really captains, but I think for the most part everyone has DCE for their captain.
Current captain.
I just want to bring up something real quick here, and let's not drag this on for more than 30 seconds to a minute. But if DCE goes down, because I read today he's putting back groin surgery at the end of the year. If he goes down for Origin,
I did hear that.
If he goes down for Origin, who's our 7? Us Queenslanders, I'm asking.
Ben Hunt.
I'd say Ben Hunt. Yeah.
I don't know if there's another option, to be honest.
You're not going to blood Sam Walker, are you? You're not going to fucking put him in. But
definitely not.
Yeah.
But it's just the gap between DC and Ben Hunt is pretty that's a pretty big.
Ben Hunt's been there. Ben Hunt's been there. He's won series. He's lost series. He's done it. Like it's not the ideal choice, but it's the one that.
It's the only choice, really.
It's the one that makes sense.
He steps up on Origin. Anyway, cool.
Anyway,
cool. Front row.
So props are pretty much Papali and Welsh. I don't think you.
Papali'i.
Papali'i, sorry.
He's friends with Dotto.
The 9 was a little bit up in the air with either Grant or Mahoney. I personally had Grant starting and Mahoney coming off the bench. Or Marnie, whatever you say his last name.
Marnie.
Marnie's an
But it's
80 player.
it's pretty much either he's, for the most part, it's either Grant or Marnie. The second row is a Confucian for Fafita and the locks Tino are pretty much locked. I was actually surprised going through the Queensland team. Everyone was pretty much
which
on
Tino are
the
you
same
talking
board.
about?
For Silva Malali.
Perfect. Perfect.
That's pretty close.
Fatua Malawi. I wrote that down. So I wouldn't.
We'll have the Goldfather following us soon. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And then
so the
Grant or Marnie on the bench.
Marnie has to start. Grant can come on for 25 minutes.
I disagree.
I disagree. I don't have Reid Marnie in the squad, man. I have him in the squad, but I don't have him in the 17.
I think
you had Hunt, didn't you?
He's been too good this year.
He's
been too good to ignore.
Okay,
and Grant's not playing full minutes. Grant's not playing full games. He's playing less minutes than Marnie, and that's why I think he's got the impact off the bench.
Yep. Okay, so yesterday I switched from Grant starting to Marnie starting. Harry Grant's out for 2 weeks.
He's been rested against the West Tigers.
He's not getting rested. He's not getting rested.
He's got a hammy.
He's got a hammy. He tore his hammy. Minimum 2 weeks.
They could field the Sunshine Coast Falcons and they'll still pump him. I don't reckon the injury is going to be as bad as
no. Reid Marnie is number 1 in the comp at flying under the radar. He's just so quiet and so underrated.
He's a gun.
He will not let the Maroons down. And Harry Grant is still there.
You, Brad.
Harry Grant is still there to come on for however many minutes you need him. But Harry,
when I was picking my team, I wasn't going off that. I was going off fully fit. So fully fit, Harry Grant's my number 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
The rest of the bench, they've had Hunt, Footawaker. I think Brad had Hess. Pretty much everyone had Sewer, and I think most people had Arrow as well. So it's a bit of an extended bench, but.
I don't mind Colin Hess. The last 2 games, he's fucking starting to rip niggas.
Awesome point. He's been switched to the front row by Todd Payton. His last 2 games have been awesome, as you said, starting and just running hard. Todd Payton said to him, apparently he said to him, I'm hearing Todd Payton said to Hess, run it straight, run it hard, and he's done so. But also I've put Hess in there as well because Cowboys. Sorry, that's B. Because he got hooked last year after game 2, I think. He didn't play game 3.
Yeah.
Kevy dropped him. And he's got extra motivation. So Hess has been playing really well. He's got some errors in his game, but off the bench, man. Yeah. So
he's a kicker too, isn't he?
No, Cohen Hess doesn't kick.
What?
Oh no, I was thinking of bloody. What's his name?
You're thinking of DCE, man, the goal kicker.
So would you have
Ethan Lowe?
Would you have Hess as coming on as a front rower? Yeah.
Not coming on. Yeah. Off bench.
Coming off the bench. Yeah.
Like him with Fodawaker rotating.
Yep, 100%.
Yep. It's actually, to be honest, it's a pretty strong team. Like people say about the one last year, but there aren't that many changes, and it's pretty. I think
it's mental too for these boys. A lot of these guys playing Origin this year played last year. They've got that belief now. I know that sounds a little bit cliche, but these guys like Tino and
has to do something,
all the old salts like Gagai and DCE and Holmes, like they're going to be like. Man, like it's going to be a good series. I can't wait to go to Suncorp for game 2.
It'll be a good series.
Off tap.
Gagai, as we know, he grows another leg in a maroon jersey every year.
He's what Godges is to you. He's my.
He's fantastic, but the thing that I think we need to discuss the most out of that team is fullback, because obviously I reckon the popular opinion would be first choice is Kalen Ponga. He's starting to find a bit of form now, but in my opinion, he hasn't had terrific season. AJ Brinson has been on fire. I mean, like in that Titans game on the weekend, did you see that second try by the Titans? He had that awesome line break, and I think he put Peachy in under the post.
Untouched.
He had a ripper of a game in game one last year, and then he went down injured and missed the rest of the series. And I think, honestly, he's owed another chance to say, this is my jersey. And I know that's very open for debate, because Ponga would have had the number one last year if he wasn't injured. But AJ got it. He took it with both hands, and made me fall in love with the bloke, mate. And so that's why I want to see him get another shot at it.
I think he will too. I think one thing that I have a feeling that they're probably going to bring Ponga off the bench again and play him as that like sort of second lock, because when he did that, I think it was either last year or the year before, he went ape shit and just carved up. So, I mean, we'll see.
Actually.
Move on, New South Wales.
New South Wales.
Everyone had Teddy. That's probably the most obvious choice. Even though Turbo's killing it, you kind of have to have Teddy in the team. Everyone had Adokar. Pretty much everyone had Mitchell in their centres. The other centre was a little bit up. I think most of us had Turbo. I think Stocksy had Crichton.
That's Steve Crichton, yeah.
Steve Crichton.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is probably fair. I'm Angus Crichton. Angus Crichton, yeah.
I'd love Angus Crichton in the centres.
Even though Crichton's sort of doing really well at Penrith, I'm still a little bit... There's something about the way he holds the ball and his carries and stuff. I'm not too sold on him at that next level yet. Happy to have him in the squad or whatever, but I'd rather have the likes of Turbo and Mitchell as a pairing if they're both fit. Then again on the wing, I think some people push Turbo to the wing. I think Dave or Brad, you had Toto or Dave. One of you said.
I think Dave.
Yeah, I think he deserves to have a crack. I could be wrong, like I said last week with Anthony Quinn, who was an absolutely damaging winger a long time ago. He got exposed, but I think Toho, you can't not put him in the team. He's making more run meters than some fucking forward packs are making meters. Like, I just think he'll be invaluable in that team, just making those big meters. He can also finish too. So
I think the only way he's like really effective.
Yeah, but I'd put. But
the thing.
You know what I'd do? I don't know if I put this in my squad, but I'd put Tommy Turbo next to him. Turbo is fucking all-time player. Like,
I think that's a really good idea. For me personally, I'd rather have. I think Turbo on the wing is a better option, because he's going to get more ball. His kick returns are insane, man. And you want him, at least, even if he's playing centre, you want him back on a kick, playing at wing on a kick return.
That's the thing, is I think they'll play him the same way, whereas he's probably wear number 4 and he's back, and he'll sort of play a bit in the centres, but he will be the person chasing the ball down and being that second fullback and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think, even though he's going to be in the centres, I wouldn't want him to be stuck out on the wing. I want him in, looking for the ball, having runs, and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, the only way I would have Toto on the wing was if he was paired up across from Val Holmes. If it's him and Val Holmes on one side of the field, I'm pretty confident that he'll do well. If Coates is up against him, it's going to be a rough night. And I don't know whether it's worth having Tommy having to cover him all night. Anyway, that's just my thing.
I think New South Wales are in pretty good hands with fullbacks, let's face it. If Turbo...
If not coming in?
If Teddy goes down, you got Turbo. If Turbo goes down, you got Pappenhausen.
If Pappenhausen goes down, you got King Gutho.
Dude, Gutho annoys the piss out of me, but man, I watched him the other night, and he's probably one of the fittest players in the NRL, and he's got a lot of let's complain to the ref and do all that sort of bullshit, but there's no denying that he is one of the better fullbacks.
Mate, I'll respect you a lot more.
He's an unbelievable team player, man. But to be honest, he was disappointing last year, man. He had a bench back rower giving him a bath. He was trash at centre. I think Gutho needs to either
He's
play.
not a
But
centre.
you never play him at
He's not a
centre
centre.
again. That's the
Well,
thing.
why the fuck did Freddie
He's not-
Fittler play him as centre? And why are people still talking? Oh, you got to have him in the team. Yeah, you do.
No,
but
he
not
won't
at
be.
centre.
Yeah, guarantee. you won't.
That's what
I
New South
guarantee you
Wales
won't play
have to
that.
learn from their mistake. You can't just you can't make this the AFL All Australian team where you've got a fucking midfielder at full forward. You got to have specialist players in those specialist roles. Turbo being the exception, because we know he can play on the wing. We know he can play in centre. He's done it before at Origin level, and he carved. I'd love to see To'o get a run, but I feel like Turbo's best. He'd be better placed on the wing. That's just my opinion. And then
also have to remember,
a car on the other
New
wing.
New South Wales was struggling last year with centres, so it wasn't like Turbo was fit and Mitchell was fit and all that sort of stuff, and then they just threw in Jack White and things. So that's not the case
would have
this year.
played
So
centre last year if he hadn't done his knee. And but yeah, I'm surprised Steve Crichton didn't get a run last year, because he was Dalian centre of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he had a pretty big second half of the year. He didn't play too many games at the start before Origin, so he sort of got bored.
Yeah, no, but Origin was at the end of the year last year.
Oh yeah, it was too. Yeah, I don't know what the reason was then.
There's just no trust, mate. Sorry. I was going to say there's no trust. They thought, we'll put a Dally M player at centre, or one of the best fullbacks in the conference centre. And
well, that's it. They just wanted the top 3 Dally M players in there, didn't they?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
So
Cleary came to
six for the most part is either Whiten or Luai. I personally went with Whiten to have that bigger body. Luai is still like a little bit erratic for me, and I feel like it works. It works at that club level. I just don't know if that necessarily will work as much, especially in that Origin arena, like that sort of running back, like stepping it back on the inside and all that sort of stuff. I feel like a lot of the time you're just going to get hammered. Like I don't know whether that's necessarily going to work. And defense. Like, I think he's a pretty good defender, to be honest, because he's a smaller bloke. But I don't know. Whiten's been pretty good for the Raiders in a pretty average team, but I'd prefer to have that bigger body. Pretty much everyone had Cleary. Props are either Haas, Paulo, Saifidi. Everyone had Cook. Second rowers were pretty much either Frizzell, Angus Crichton, or Radley. And 13 was actually
just go back there to the RFs. Is that Frizzell hasn't been in that?
I didn't even have him in my team, to be honest.
Man, I had Radley. I put Radley in the back row.
Yeah,
I've had a couple of Newcastle games. He's been pretty good, man.
Radley's he hasn't been terrible, but he's just I don't know.
I reckon he'll get the spot based on. I reckon he'll get the spot based on history, because he's always been.
I think he'll come off the bench though. I think he'll come off the bench.
He's like Clemmer for Origin, like not exceptional at club, but just turns up for like Gagai.
Gagai. 13 was kind of a toss up between J Turbo, Isaiah Yeo, and Cameron Murray. I think Cameron Murray, he's definitely injured at the moment, so I don't know whether he's going to be back in time.
J Turbo, put him in there, man.
Time.
Make him long.
Well, he's been coming off the bench though in previous things. So I don't know.
He carved through the middle, man. Like his offload game, and he can ball play in the middle. Jake Travoy.
Yeah, but I think the difference is
he can play.
I would have Isaiah Yeo because he's got a better running game.
And
he's got that footwork at the.
I get
but he's a gun. So there's no denying
Origin's a lot about emotion too, and there's not a more emotional player than Jake Travojevic. And the guy could play 180 minutes at 13. I reckon.
He does have that combination with Turbo as well. So
but come on, man! Like in all seriousness, you can't take J Turbo out of the team when he's been in the team for Isaiah Yeo, who's not proven, who I think does less than J Turbo offers. Like, come on.
I'll keep him in the team. I'll just have him come off the bench.
Okay. Fair.
And then the bench was pretty much Paps, which I'm not particularly sold on. No. Nathan Brown.
Doesn't
fit. Who was the second one you said?
Whiten. Brown.
Nathan Brown.
Which, I mean,
Nathan Brown's
Nathan
got to
Brown,
be.
he'll be
he's
inside.
aggressive.
I like him for 3
He's a
Queensland
great
penalties
Like-
in the end.
like-
Yeah.
do you know what's stupid? Sorry, Stocksy, go.
Okay, so with your White and Luai debate, I opted for Luai starting at 6 because of the club combo, but also because Whiten is a more versatile 14 because he could come on and play that 6. He could play 1. We know that he can't play in the centres. We found that out last year.
But he can if he has to.
He can if he has to, and he can also come in and play 13 if he had to. And he's that big body. He'd be that ball playing 13.
That's my reason why I've got Luai on the bench.
Yeah.
So Luai comes in the last 10 minutes of the half, and probably the first 10 minutes after,
and just pushes
him and be that extra running, maybe 13.
I
don't think Luai can play a full game, but I think he can probably.
I just see Whiten more. You remember when DCE first debuted for Queensland and he came on and played 13 off the bench, and he did like everyone was shocked at like, geez, he's actually because people don't realise how big bodied DCE is because he's so weird looking. He's got that long neck and that, but he's actually he's really strong. But anyway, go on.
Good defender. The one that I didn't, I'm not sold on, and I get everyone has to have him in. Everyone wants to have him in the team because he's freak and all this sort of stuff. But I would love to have him in the team, but I just don't know where Paps fits into it all.
Bryce Cartwright.
No.
Paps
has to play fullback if he's in the team.
He doesn't play.
He doesn't play.
I had him.
Sorry, I'm trying to just let me say one thing. Fuck me. Pappenhausen only plays is if Tedesco's injured. He can't play 14 because he only plays fullback. He doesn't play wing. That's all I wanted to fucking say. Thank God I got it in. Go.
I agree because everyone. I've heard a lot of people have him coming off the bench at 14, but what do you do? He can't defend in the middle.
Well, that's it. I put him at 18th man. I put him at 18th man just to get him in the team, just as for that Origin experience, because they say that's invaluable, just having him part of the squad and stuff like that. But let's be honest, if Teddy goes down, I'm putting Turbo in at fullback. If Turbo goes down, I'm putting Gutho in, and then if Gutho goes down, then we'll call Paps.
Yep.
Yeah, I tend to agree a little bit, to be honest.
Cool. All right. Well, that's all decided. We'll post those on the social media sites, all the individual teams. And yeah, good chat. Let's have a look at Magic Round. Magic Round, all games at Suncorp this weekend. So that'll be fun. You boys are going to go?
Tips? No.
At Brizzy?
Watching TV. Watching telly.
Yeah, we got a couple of things happening. Yeah, Brisbane.
No.
Yeah.
Hodgie
Social outings.
You just got tickets today?
Should be a good weekend actually.
Yeah,
Did you just get tickets today?
When I go?
No.
Oh, I thought you. Oh, okay. Why wouldn't you go?
Because we've got stuff on, bro. We've got social outings and whatnot to do.
Let's get these tips
Big Pit
underway.
Man is coming up. Yeah.
Let's get
quick tips and we'll cover it away. So we've got West Tigers Knights. I'm going to go Knights.
Where is it?
Oh,
Everyone's at Suncorp, bro. Are you kidding?
it's Magic Round, bro.
Wagga.
Yeah, so
everyone's right?
Everyone's on Knights. Everyone's on Knights.
Knights.
Yeah, they'll pop my tips again.
But I am pretty confident in Dewey carving up. Shut up, Gamble.
In the centres. He might. Sea Eagles, Broncos. I'm going to go Sea Eagles.
Yeah, Manly.
Sorry.
Yeah, Manly. Turbo's too good.
Bulldogs, Raiders. I'm going to go
Raiders to come back.
Yeah, Raiders, but they'll concede a fair few tries.
Yep, agreed.
Bunnies, Sharks. Is Latrell back this week? I think. I think he's back this week. I think
he could be because he only had a suspension. There's no injury, remember?
No, he's not actually. Cody Walker's been named at 1.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he's not back yet.
South.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Bunnies. I think they can get it done against the Sharks.
Yeah, I think they're going to want to bounce back.
Dave, Bunnies?
Yeah, all day, man. Bunnies.
Yeah. Roosters, Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Roosters.
Yeah, I'm too scared. I'm going to go.
Full squad. No injuries, no suspensions.
Yeah, I agree, Brad. I think Cowboys are coming off a massive win last week, and Roosters.
Actually, with those injuries,
Cowboys love Suncorp too. Like, yeah, Josh Morris is still. Is it Josh or Brett?
Brett.
Brett.
Josh.
I saw the Roosters today. Tupou, like big names still playing. Takiaho, Maria Hargraves. Like, but man, I'm calling it Cowboys. If they don't win, it's going to be close.
You know what? You've convinced me. I'm going Cowboys too. Fuck it. Cowboys all the way.
Yeah, all right.
Go on then.
Warriors, Para. I'm going to go Para. I think Para are going to be too good.
Yep.
I think I actually think they might
Warriors
score.
unfortunately.
Yeah, Warriors will still score 2 or 3, 4 tries, but
I think Para's been too good lately. Dave?
Warriors will lose 26 points to 46 probably.
Storms, Dragons. Storms got a little bit of a team change, but I'm still going to stick with them, I think. All right.
Storms have a better winning record in the last 10 years than the Broncos do.
No Munster, no Harry Grant, but they've got a 12-year-old from the outer suburbs of Melbourne playing who's going to carve, so it should be good.
I was actually surprised that Cooper Johnson isn't playing. That was interesting. I thought that he would have been brought into the halves at number 6. He's not great, but he's still I think he's still the first choice half for halfback. But I think he's first choice for Sunshine Coast still. So
yeah,
so everyone's on the Storms
on him. Yeah,
Storms. Everyone's Storms. Yep. And then last game of the round is Penrith and Titans. I'm going to go Penrith, obviously.
Oh, why?
Titans 13 plus upset.
Just they're flying.
Titans 13 plus.
If Fafita was playing, then I would be a bit more inclined. Yeah, he's
the suspension.
I'm actually pretty stoked that he's not playing, to be honest.
All right, in that case,
it's going to be Penny for sure.
Panthers 22 plus.
They're only playing $1.07, which is pretty short, I think. It's not impossible.
Panthers 22 plus. Panthers don't have a lot of points in them. Like, they're not a Storm can do 50 points per game, but
48.
Well, they did 48 last week. That was against the Sharks, though, so it's probably not too much to laugh about.
Not consistently.
Well, I think they put it on like 48 a week.
Just fucking 3 under the bus there, man.
But yeah, that's it. So that's Magic Round. Hopefully it's always pretty good, I think. Not going to the games, but I think they're always pretty good to watch on TV. I'm going to go see the Beak at Caxton.
Caxton,
Don't crash your car.
Saturday.
Don't crash your car on the way.
Make sure you get those, Brad, make sure you get your bloke shirts on, all right?
Yeah, no, it'd be good.
My advice to people my advice to people visiting the Beak: do not crash your car on the way and then miss out on the event, like I did last year.
Obviously, you did. Loser.
But say good day to him for me and kiss him.
I'll get him on the pod next week.
Yep.
Just mention my boy Stocksy. Fucking would love you to send him a few cartons.
That's pretty much it. Don't forget to like the page, catch _and_pass _podcast. That is on Instagram, and we've got a link tree in the bio that takes you to our YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe to that.
Before we go as well, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our followers who plays for the Blackhawks, and he's definitely an up and coming Cowboys player. It's my man Bacho Salam. So thanks for following, Bacho, and get your boys around it.
We need look at the lucky charms on him. Fucking hell.
we need Hoffman from the Blackhawks and a couple other the big names.
Holy fuck!
So yeah, Bacho, if you're listening, bro, watching, he's a gun center for the Cowboys, and we do need some good centers. So
Bacho,
my man, Bacho.
Yeah.
Oh, can bicep
You,
curl.
mate.
But
And did you have a few
Congratulations on his
shout-outs,
arms,
Dave?
brother.
Oh no, I'm fucking over it, man. Let's go.
but
Okay. Anyone have a call out this week? It's been stinging me watching Danny Widler since I called him out the other week.
Fuck him. He's never going to
fucking
change. Man.
so
D-dubs.
annoying. Mm.
Dickhead. Anyway, that's all. Sweet as. Another good app.
All right,
Crazy.
thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you next week on, I don't know, maybe an afternoon recording.
Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Wednesday, 8 o'clock.